right, welcome to the very first Eyes on Loan video. My name is Nick, also known as swolair.btc on Twitter. You can follow me at swolair1. Not a lot of content out there on YouTube for Proton Loan. And so I've been looking at this a lot the last couple days since it came out. I think my eyes have been glued to this platform for 80% of every day since this came out like 3 or 4 days ago. So I've been, coming up with a lot of questions. I've come up with my own strategies for how to use this, which maybe I will go over in a separate video, but that would, technically be some kind of financial advice. So I'll keep that for a separate time. But a lot of things are, coming to mind, questions, comments about Proton Loan. Now, the first thing that I always think about when I was thinking about loan before its release, we always thought, how's this going to compare to when Compound and Aave came out a couple of years back or whenever they released, right? Because we've seen their market caps and the total value locked on those platforms go into the billions. And right here you can see after, I don't know where my mouse is, after being out for about 3 to 4 days, total value locked on loan right now is 9.1 million. I did tweet about that and how we were approaching 10. I think we did cross 10, but today's a down day on the market. A lot of people are freaking out because Bitcoin's at around 33K. I'm not one of those people, but anyway. So some of the value has already come off of the platform for a day like today, but we're not even on the DeFi Llama ranking for total value locked on platforms. But we would be sitting right around here, like 410-ish or so. We're not even on this website. If you go all the way up and you let this load, because there's so many of these things listed, you'll see who the top platforms are, and they're names that you're going to be familiar with. So you're going to see Compound, Curve, MakerDAO. There's Aave. I don't know. But yeah, look at how much value these platforms have locked. So, these have been around for a while, and they've got billions of value locked. So there is so much more room for Proton Loan. It is obviously still so early. There is something that I saw in the documents when I was reading about Proton Loan, and I don't believe this feature has been implemented into the platform yet. But I'm super curious about this. I'm very interested in this. But essentially, I'm going to read this. But essentially, the platform at some point is going to incentivize people like you and me to get in there and find people with bad loans and pay them off and liquidate them, essentially. Closing their loans for them and taking their collateral plus a 10% bonus on top of it. So let me read this word for word. In case the borrower's borrowed assets increase above the max borrow threshold of collateral factor, the borrower is considered to be illiquid and can be liquidated. Anyone can be a liquidator and liquidate a user by repaying this user's debt and seizing the user's collateral in return. Let me read that again. Anyone can be a liquidator. So I don't see anywhere in the platform currently to do this, to basically open up some kind of a book of loans and find the ones that are in the red and pay them out. So I assume that this will be coming, but it is super exciting. It's almost like they're going to incentivize liquidation sniping. You're going to snipe some liquidations or snipe some bad borrowers. It's kind of exciting and seems almost like it's something that could be gamified. But I'm very, very, very curious about this. Liquidators are important for the system's health and are therefore incentivized to perform liquidations by receiving a discount on the seized collateral. And in other words, they receive more collateral than the debt they repaid for the borrower. The collateral factor also serves as a buffer for liquidations and ensures that a borrower becomes liquid again after liquidations occurred. A collateral factor of 100% would result in a borrower being completely liquidated and losing all of their collateral as soon as they drop below their borrowed threshold. And then it lists an example. I don't think a lot of people caught this. I mentioned it to Marlon in Telegram, and I don't think he kind of gets what I'm saying. He's like, oh, if you're a developer, you can figure this out. It's like, nah, dude, I don't think that's what's going on here with this, but maybe I'm wrong, and I'm happy to be corrected and taken to school on that. I just don't think that this is something you can do yet, but anyone can be a liquidator at some point, so I'm actually really excited for this. I don't think a lot of us are talking about it when we talk about Proton Loan. And then I've I tweeted a bunch of things over the weekend and kind of want to talk about some of them. It is a highly addicting platform. Okay, I don't know if anyone else experienced this, but I mean, the way that I've been using it is that I've deposited a healthy amount of collateral. I'm borrowing against the collateral and putting the borrowed assets into, let's just say, other places that create the passive income to then pay off the debt. I won't get into it too much, but I just, you need to be careful. It's like if you're going to take out a loan against your crypto, you might want to ask yourself if you want the asset that you're going to use or buy with the borrowed assets to be something that generates other assets, or if you just want it to be a liability, because that's how you can get in some real trouble. But anyway, I found it to be super addictive that I was in this motion of like borrowing and increasing my passive income with the borrowed assets, and kind of just like keeping my loan health really high, but like constantly looking at it. It's an addictive platform. I find it to be somewhat addicting to borrow and to move the assets around and get them to work for you, and then to like borrow more. So just be really, really careful with that. I think earlier on Saturday morning, I had tweeted that there was a 91% APY yield rate on USDC, and within maybe an hour or two, that had come down to 30%, which was still really good, by the way. I mean, where are you going to get 30% on dollars anywhere? Nowhere. I think the best you can get is 8% on Celsius. But remember with Proton Loan, folks, that these rates are really variable. They change all the time. And, now that we've got so much actual debt being taken out, you can see right here that of the 5 assets, most people are actually borrowing USDC. So now that that's been the case, the rate completely flipped, and now you're basically looking at a 10% interest rate on USDC. So if you borrowed it, you are incentivized to pay it back ASAP, because look at that rate, 16% interest payment on that versus like 6% loan rewards that you get. So just be really, really careful. The rates can go from really good to really bad very fast. So just be careful. And speaking of that, I mean, I'm not going to click it, but when you click the portfolio button, you have in the upper right corner a little rewards box. It doesn't tell you outright, but those are loan tokens. So that number that keeps filling up, those are loan tokens. If you hit the reward box, you'll basically harvest them just like you would if you were yield farming them, and they will go right into your Proton wallet under the loan section. And even with those rewards, the rate for USDC went from really good to really bad really fast. So just watch out for that, guys. Got to keep your eyes on these rates and your loan health. So I tweeted about that. It went from 90 to 30 to negative 11 in terms of yield. So be careful. And then I did finally see this. As someone who has been anticipating loans release for the last 6 to 8 months, every week or so I would check to see if Proton Loan's actual token was added to CoinMarketCap or added to Live Coin Watch, because Metal is there and so is Proton XPR. And I was like, why is Loan not there? It's on a few markets. Finally made it. I guess maybe the eligibility is that the token has to be like a working product, and maybe they weren't allowed to list it before because it was just purely speculative. That doesn't sound exactly right for crypto, but I don't know. So Proton Loan is officially on CoinMarketCap and Live Coin Watch now, if you want to kind of get an idea of its price. It just adds a lot more legitimacy once it's on one of these websites. And then finally, guys, I just want to say thank you so much for watching the video. I'm going to try to get out more content because I'm super excited about this particular platform, this particular product of the Proton ecosystem, which is nearly complete, might I add. But I created an official Twitter for this channel. So if you want to follow me, we're at Eyes on Loan, and we are called Eyes on Loan. And then of course my other Twitter is at Swolair1. I hope you guys enjoy this kind of content. I really, really want to get a discussion going, and more than just what's going on in the Proton Loan Telegram. That place is kind of like crazy. So I don't know. I'm really, really curious about what your guys' thoughts are on the platform. Like, what do you like about it? What are you not liking about it? We can totally be honest. And if anyone else has any more info on this liquidations thing, like, please let me know. I'm super excited to get started on punishing some bad borrowers. All right, that's going to be it for me, folks. Have a great day.